The moment ticket sales opened for BTS's highly anticipated world tour Arirang, social media timelines across the globe erupted almost instantly. Within minutes, hashtags linked to the tour shot to the top of trending lists in multiple countries as fans frantically refreshed ticketing pages, shared screenshots of endless virtual queues, and screamed in all caps when the dreaded words "sold out" appeared on their screens. For many ARMY, this wasn't just another concert announcement. It was the return they had been waiting for after years of anticipation, and the scale of demand proved just how enormous that longing had become. In city after city, reports poured in that entire dates had vanished within hours, some even faster than expected industry projections. Fans who successfully secured seats celebrated like they had won the lottery, posting emotional messages about finally seeing BTS live again, some recalling how long they had saved money or rearranged travel plans for this exact moment. Others filmed themselves shaking, crying, or collapsing dramatically onto their beds in disbelief, turning the ticketing chaos into viral, relatable content that spread far beyond the fandom. The collective adrenaline rush made the sale itself feel like a global event, one that unfolded simultaneously in living rooms, internet cafes, and offices where fans secretly kept ticketing tabs open behind work spreadsheets. But alongside the joy came waves of frustration. Thousands of ARMY described sitting in digital waiting rooms for hours, only to be kicked out when their turn finally arrived, or to discover that every available section had already been snapped up. Screenshots of error messages and frozen checkout pages flooded timelines, accompanied by captions ranging from sarcastic humor to outright despair. Some fans joked that they had aged 10 years during the process, while others compared the experience to surviving a battlefield, dubbing it the ultimate ticket war. Even those who failed to get seats often stayed online to cheer for friends who succeeded, reinforcing the community spirit that has long defined the fandom. Conversations quickly shifted toward pricing and sales systems as well, with debates breaking out over dynamic pricing, limited pre-sales, and the transparency of ticket platforms. While many acknowledged that the overwhelming demand was a testament to BTS's unmatched global pull, others questioned whether the infrastructure was truly prepared for a group of this magnitude. The discourse didn't dim the excitement for the tour itself, but it added another layer to the story, one that highlighted the tension between massive fandoms and the modern concert industry struggling to keep up with them. By the end of the day, World Tour Arirang had become more than a list of sold-out shows. It was a shared emotional roller coaster experienced in real time by millions. From triumphant victory posts to heartbreak memes and late-night group chats plotting for the next ticket drop, ARMY once again demonstrated how every BTS milestone turns into a global spectacle. The rapid sellouts didn't just confirm the group's enduring power, they reignited the sense that whenever BTS moves, the world truly stops to watch, refresh, and hope for one precious confirmation screen that says, "Your purchase was successful." As the initial shock of the sellouts settled, a second wave of reactions began to dominate online spaces. Fans strategizing, consoling one another, and dissecting every rumor about additional dates or venue upgrades. Group chats multiplied overnight, filled with screenshots of seating maps, speculation about surprise stadium expansions, and hopeful theories that promoters might add encore shows in cities where demand had been most explosive. For ARMY, who came up empty-handed, the mood shifted from devastation to determination, with many vowing to stay awake for future drops, resale windows, or last-minute releases that sometimes appeared just days before concerts. International fans, meanwhile, started mapping out cross-border plans. Posts circulated from people considering flying halfway around the world if it meant catching even a single night of the tour. Travel itineraries were drafted, hotel prices compared, and friends recruited as potential ticket-buying allies in different time zones. The frenzy underscored how BTS concerts have evolved into pilgrimage-like events, where the journey becomes part of the story, and securing a seat feels like earning a badge of honor. Media outlets quickly picked up on the spectacle, framing the chaotic ticket rush as proof that BTS's return to full-scale touring had reignited a dormant but incredibly powerful global machine. Analysts pointed to the speed of the sellouts as evidence that the group's influence had not only survived their hiatus, but perhaps grown even stronger, fueled by years of anticipation and an ever-expanding international fanbase. Headlines described digital queues stretching into the hundreds of thousands, while commentators debated whether any act in the world could currently rival that level of instant demand. Within the fandom, humor continued to act as a pressure valve. Memes comparing fans to Olympic sprinters racing through checkout pages spread rapidly, as did edited clips of people dramatically praying to their Wi-Fi routers or bargaining with fate for one lucky access code. Even heartbreak was turned into performance art, with users staging mock press conferences announcing their defeat in the ticket war, or posting black and white photos captioned, "Me after losing Arirang tickets." The laughter didn't erase the disappointment, but it transformed it into something communal, another shared chapter in the long, emotional history between BTS and ARMY. As days passed and official channels hinted that more announcements might be coming, anticipation only intensified. Every cryptic emoji from promoters, every vague statement about monitoring demand, and every schedule update sent fans into renewed speculation. The sold-out notices, rather than closing the conversation, had opened a new one about accessibility, global touring in the digital age, and the sheer scale of devotion surrounding 7 artists whose movements can shake the entire live music industry. What began as a simple ticket sale had unfolded into a worldwide narrative of hope, chaos, resilience, and celebration. For ARMY, the world tour Arirang was already unforgettable before a single note had been played, and as the countdown to opening night continued, one truth echoed across every timeline and time zone. Whether inside the stadium or still chasing a chance to get in, millions were emotionally locked into this tour, ready to relive the rush all over again the moment the next ticket window appeared. Behind the scenes, industry insiders began quietly describing the ticket rush as one of the most intense they had seen in years, comparing it to the largest stadium tours in modern pop history, but noting that the online frenzy surrounding Arirang carried a uniquely emotional edge. This was not just about numbers on a sales chart. It was about a fandom that had spent years counting days, celebrating solo milestones, and waiting for the moment when BTS would once again stand together on a global stage. That long buildup seemed to explode all at once when the ticket portals opened, releasing a tidal wave of clicks, posts, screams, and tears. Some longtime fans reflected on how different this era felt compared to earlier tours, recalling smaller venues, easier access, and the thrill of discovering BTS before the rest of the world caught up. Now, the group's stature had reached a level where every move triggered headlines and server overloads, and even seasoned concertgoers admitted they underestimated just how fierce the competition would be. Newer ARMY, experiencing their first major tour sale, described the process as baptism by fire, terrifying, exhilarating, and strangely bonding all at once. At the same time, conversations about fairness and fan protection grew louder. Advocacy accounts circulated guides on avoiding scalpers, warning against suspicious resale listings, and urging people to use only official channels. Stories surfaced of inflated prices appearing almost immediately on secondary markets, reigniting debates over ticket bots and whether stricter safeguards should be enforced for events of this scale. Many fans emphasized that their frustration wasn't aimed at BTS themselves, but at a system that often seems ill-equipped to handle an audience measured in the tens of millions. Still, hope refused to fade. Every whisper of added dates felt like oxygen to a fandom holding its collective breath, and even vague corporate language was parsed word for hidden meaning. When promoters suggested they were evaluating further opportunities in high-demand regions, timelines erupted again, this time with cautious optimism replacing raw panic. Some fans began preparing emotionally for round 2, promising to upgrade their internet plans, coordinate with friends, or take time off work the next time sales opened. Through it all, the underlying sentiment remained unmistakable: gratitude mixed with awe. Many ARMY expressed pride that BTS could command such staggering attention, seeing the sold-out signs not only as barriers, but as symbols of how far the group had come. What started as heartbreak for some slowly transformed into collective admiration, a reminder that the artists they support have become a cultural force, capable of halting routines, crashing servers, and uniting strangers across continents in a single shared moment of anticipation. As opening night drew closer and the world waited for the first live glimpse of the Arirang stage, the ticket chaos had already secured its place in fandom lore. Screenshots of queues, triumphant confirmation emails, and despairing error messages would be archived and revisited for years to come, retold to future fans as the legendary day when millions tried, and many failed, to get inside. Long before the lights dimmed and the music started, the story of this tour had already become one for the history books, written not only by BTS themselves, but by the countless voices of ARMY who turned a simple ticket sale into a global drama. As the narrative continued to unfold, cultural commentators began framing the ticket frenzy as a snapshot of a larger moment in pop history, one where fandom, technology, and global mobility collide in real time. The Arirang rush was increasingly described not merely as a commercial success, but as proof that BTS had entered a rare category of artists whose movements ripple far beyond music charts into travel industries, social platforms, and even local economies around major venues. Hotel searches reportedly spiked within hours of the sales, while airline routes and tourism boards quietly prepared for waves of international visitors planning to orbit each concert stop. Fans themselves became storytellers, compiling long threads and video diaries that chronicled their journeys from hopeful logins to emotional victories or crushing defeats. Some posted time-stamped breakdowns of how long they waited in queues, complete with screen recordings of spinning loading icons and frantic refresh clicks, turning the chaos into documentaries of digital endurance. Others shared heartfelt reflections about what seeing BTS again would mean after years of distance, how the group's music had carried them through school, military enlistments, pandemics, and personal struggles, making the chance to attend Arirang feel symbolic rather than purely recreational. In quieter corners of the internet, gratitude notes addressed directly to the members circulated widely, thanking them simply for returning to the stage together. These posts often went viral, gathering hundreds of thousands of likes, as fans echoed the same sentiment, that regardless of who managed to secure a seat, the very existence of a new world tour felt like a gift. For many, the sold-out banners were bittersweet reminders of scarcity, but also celebrations of how enduring the bond between BTS and their audience had become. Meanwhile, anticipation for the production itself grew louder by the day. Speculation about the setlist, stage design, and the meaning behind the tour's title dominated conversations, with fans revisiting old performances, analyzing cryptic teasers, and constructing elaborate theories about possible solo segments or surprise guest appearances. The lack of concrete details only fueled the excitement, transforming every minor hint into headline material and every backstage rumor into a trending topic. What had started as a frantic scramble for tickets was now evolving into a months-long cultural countdown. The world was watching not just to see how fast BTS could sell out stadiums, but to witness how this tour might redefine the scale of post-hiatus comebacks and global touring in the streaming era. For ARMY, the story was still being written in real time, across timelines, time zones, and languages, each post adding another layer to the collective chronicle of a fandom that once again proved it could turn anticipation itself into an event. And as fans refreshed official accounts late into the night, hoping for that magical announcement of added shows, one thing felt certain: the frenzy surrounding World Tour Arirang had already cemented its legacy. Even before the first spotlight hit the stage, BTS once more reminded the world that their presence alone is enough to spark worldwide motion, an orchestra of clicks, cheers, tears, and unwavering devotion playing in perfect, chaotic harmony.